Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. I can't believe April's almost over. How bizarre is that? uh, just day after tomorrow, it's gonna be May, to quote Justin Timberlake. um, so yeah, it's wild. I hope you're all still staying safe. I know that Texas is looking to ease up uh, a few of our restrictions, but to be honest, I'm not sure we're ready. I just really hope everyone stays smart, stays safe. It's a scary time, y'all. So that's why I thought we would go back to Once Upon a Midnight Clear today. I've been in such a Disney mood recently, so I need some princesses and some Christmas. So just a reminder, what has happened so far: Princess Rosalind is in the Principality of San Cecilio for her former betrothed's wedding to an American girl. Like I said before, this is every Hallmark movie where the prince falls in love with an American girl, but from the jilted princess's perspective. And in this case, the jilted princess is Rosalind of Mondovia. And she has become overwhelmed with all the wedding preparations, with princess lessons with Brittany, and with Viscount Weston Bentley trying to get her attention. So she has escaped from the palace and is now wandering around the city, the capital city of Bologna. And by the way, Hallmark, if you're watching this, feel free to call me, if you want to make this a movie. I'm very easy to work with. Yeah. Call me Hallmark. Once Upon a Midnight Clear. It could happen. It could be great. Anyway, this is chapter 5. I can't believe it. I did it. And I am so glad that I did. The streets of downtown Bologna are sparkling with Christmas lights and holiday spirit, and for the first time in quite a while, I feel like I can finally breathe. And as it just so happens, the air smells like cinnamon and evergreen. Delightful. Although I visited Bologna many times before, this is my first Christmas here, and everything about it is pure magic. From the choir singing carols on the steps of the courthouse to the Christmas trees blinking on every corner. The shops themselves are equally festive with their holiday displays and decorations. As I stop to admire a 3-story frosted gingerbread house inside a bakery window, I realize I'm only just around the block from my favorite local bookstore, the perfect place to lie low for a few hours. Glancing around just to make sure I'm not being watched or followed, I make the short trek to the bookstore, where employees are just putting the finishing touches on a Christmas tree constructed entirely out of green and red paperbacks. How clever, I declare, far more loudly than I intended. The girl trimming the book tree turns to look at me. Why, thank you, miss. Is there anything I can help you find today? Oh, no thank you. I'm just looking. Well, if you need assistance, my name is Gloria, she says with a bright smile. Thank you, Gloria. Casually, I meander back to the aisles marked fiction. I really don't need to buy any new books. My personal library back home is literally overflowing with books that I have yet to read. But sometimes when I find myself surrounded by new titles and the smell of fresh, unread pages, I can't help myself. I select a few books that friends have recommended to me and a few others that catch my eye from the shelves before carefully making my way to the small reading nook near the back of the store. Unfortunately, carefully isn't careful enough. Oof! For the second time, I'm startled and caught completely off guard when I collide with something standing in my path. This time, a living, breathing human being. At least this morning it was just a table. Oh no, I am so sorry, I gasp. I do hope you'll forgive. But for what may very well be the first time in my life, I'm rendered speechless. The person staring down at me, the one I've nearly just trampled to the ground, is the handsomest young man I have ever seen. I've spent my life surrounded by princes and lords, many of whom I've never given a second glance. Yet this young man manages to take my breath away with a single look. He's tall, much taller than Nicholas, with dark blonde hair that's tousled like he's also been wearing a hat, and about a week's growth of unshaven scruff on his sharp, angular jawline. However, it's in his eyes, those beautiful eyes as blue as the winter sky, that I truly lose myself. Okay, so if you're wondering who I was imagining for this handsome stranger, when I started writing this, I had just watched The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and Oliver Jackson Cohen, who plays Luke, is just a dream and a half. He's so pretty. So yeah, I was imagining Oliver Jackson Cohen for this young man whose name is Zach. But you know, you can really picture any handsome dude you want. You know, right now I'm actually in a Chris Evans mood because of Defending Jacob. Oh my gosh, that series is so good. I can't wait for the next one. And we get a bonus Lady Mary Crawley in it. Oh, it's awesome. Read the book, but also watch the series. Okay. However, it's in his eyes, those beautiful eyes as blue as the winter sky, that I truly lose myself. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it, he assures me. Are you okay? Do you need some help? Help? I ask, still in a daze. That's when I realize that I'm no longer holding my stack of books. Now they're strewn around in a scattered mess on the floor. Oh, right, my books. No, it's all right. I can get them. Please allow me, he insists, bending down on one knee to help collect them and pausing to read each title as he goes. Ah, good choice, he says, holding up the book so I can see. It's The Giver by Lois Lowry. I've been meaning to read it for ages, I admit. You mean you didn't read it when you were in school? He asks. It's only then that I pick up on his accent. He's American. No, our curriculum was rather rigorous. Oh, and remember, I'm not doing accents. Nope, I don't need... Y'all don't need to hear that. Well, I think you're really going to enjoy it. I read it for English class when I was 14, and it's still one of my favorites. I'm glad to know that, I smile. After he's gathered up all of the books, he rises back up to his full height. Do you need a hand carrying all of these? He asks. I'm pleasantly taken aback. I appreciate it, but I don't want to inconvenience you. Not an inconvenience at all. Besides, I would hate for you to run into another innocent bystander. Oh, how gallant of you, I blush. That's actually my nickname back home, Mr. Gallant. Really? No, he laughs, and I realize with a start that he's flirting with me. I'm not used to this. Most men are polite to me because they're required to be, but this young man has no idea who I am. He sees only a girl in a bookstore. A girl with questionable fashion sense at that. And yet he still seems to like me. So what brings you to San Cecilio? I ask him. Oh, you know, heard it's the place to be this time of year. Is this your first visit? I've been once before, last summer, he answers. And what about you? I can tell by your accent you're not a local. I have family who lives here. It's almost the truth. And who knows? So many royal lines are interwoven, I may very well be distantly related to Nicholas and Isabel. Visiting for the holidays? Yes. That's cool. So where are you from? Italy. Okay, so that's a little less true. But my mother is of Italian and French descent, and Mondovia is just a hop, skip, and a jump across the Adriatic Sea. And you? Right now, I'm living in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, how lovely. I guess it can be, he says as he goes to set my books down. We finally reach the reading nook, a cozy space made up of 2 sofas and a coffee table. For the winter, the store has even provided fleece blankets. So what's your name? I catch myself just in time. Rosalind isn't exactly a name you hear every day. Rose. My name is Rose. Beautiful. My handsome knight in shining armor smiles, holding out his hand. I'm Zach. Is that short for Zachary? By the way, Zachary has always been one of my favorite names. Have you ever noticed that I've literally never heard of an unattractive Zachary? I mean, my first crush was Zach Hansen when I was 9. And then you have Zachary Levi, you have Zac Efron, you have Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures. I mean, just think about it. I cannot think of an unattractive Zachary. It's a great name. Is that short for Zachary? Yeah, but please just call me Zach, he says. Very well, Zach. You don't like it, do you? Not particularly, I tease. It's just not very refined. Well, between you and me, I'm not either, he winks. Oh, God, I'm in trouble. So, Rose, he continues, if I were looking for the best meal in Bologna, where would you, as someone relatively familiar with the area, suggest I find it? That's a good question. My honest answer would be a castle, but since that's not exactly an option, I'll go with the second best option. About 2 blocks over, there's a small cafe called Donnas. They serve breakfast all day, and the atmosphere inside is very homey. It's not the fanciest dining experience, but it's my favorite. Sounds perfect, Zach says. Are you hungry? I am, but I'm not sure I should admit that. I have absolutely no business running around a busy city with a man I've just met, no matter how beautiful his eyes are. That's it then. I've made my decision. I will politely decline. Actually, yes. No, that's the wrong answer. Would you like to join me? No, I would not like to join you. I don't know you at all, and I have no reason to trust you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must be getting back to the castle. I'd be delighted. The atmosphere inside Donna's is warm and comfortable, with fresh bread baking in the ovens, small vases of flowers on every table, and a fire dancing in the hearth. The building itself is dimly lit, which is both fortuitous and inadvertently romantic. Not that this is a date. It absolutely is not. So how long are you here in Bologna? I asked Zachary. Zach? While we wait for our server to return with our drink orders. Just a few days. I'll have to be getting back to work. What do you do? I'm a vet. A vet? Like a war veteran? A veterinarian, he grins, his eyes sparkling with golden firelight. Oh, how wonderful. So you take care of dogs and cats? I actually work for the Columbus Zoo. Okay, that is very impressive. How many animals is that? Around 7,000, he answers. And you treat all of them? Well, not just me. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Not just me. We have a fantastic team of other veterinarians and technicians. And of course, the keepers. Do you have a favorite animal? Well, I don't think I'm supposed to, but... He reaches into his pocket and pulls out his cell phone. He then proceeds to show me photo after photo of elephants, polar bears, orangutans, gorillas, and red pandas. These pictures are incredible. Did you take all of them yourself? I ask. Oh no, I stole most of them off the website. My pictures always somehow turn out blurry. That's a shame. Well, there's only so much you can expect from a camera phone, he grins. One day, though, I'm going to buy myself a really nice camera and I'm going to take it on safari in Africa. Africa is amazing. Have you ever been? No, but it's number 1 on my bucket list. Your what? You've never heard of a bucket list? Is it a list of things to do that you draw out of a bucket? No, he laughs. It's a list of goals that you have for your life. You know, before you kick the bucket. I don't think I've ever heard that expression. Maybe it's an American thing, he says. Speaking of which, we have spent far too much time talking about me. Tell me about you. Oh no, not this again. Can't we talk about something that I'm trying very hard not to lie about? What would you like to know? Well, you know what I do. What do you do? Wow, I walked right into that one, didn't I? I'm sort of between jobs right now. Okay. He's expecting me to elaborate. Fantastic. My dad is very involved with the government, you see, and he's been trying to help me out. We just haven't really found the right fit yet. Is that what you'd like to do? Work for the government? It's really all I've ever known, I answer honestly. Then again, there might not be a place for me. And if there isn't, I don't know. Well, the good news is you've got plenty of time to figure it out, he says. Then he smiles and looks at me with eyes so captivating and sincere that just for a moment, I forget that whatever it isn't up to me. By the time Zach and I finish eating, it's nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been away from the castle for almost 3 hours. Any longer, and I know I'll be pushing my luck. Besides, the walkers are due to arrive soon, and I've just remembered that I'm expected a cocktail reception scheduled for them an hour before the banquet. That only gives me just enough time to get back to the castle, shower, dress, and tend to my appearance before making my way down to the gold drawing room where the family entertains. I'm already dreading it. I'm dreading the small talk and the curious glances and the unspoken questions concerning my presence. But most of all, I'm dreading saying goodbye to Zach. We've just stepped out of Donnas and are lingering on the sidewalk in front of the building. The streets of the city are as crowded and lively as before, yet somehow it feels as though we're the only two people in the world. Zach, thank you for your company this afternoon. I've truly enjoyed it, I tell him in earnest. So have I, he grins. Maybe I'll run into you again. Or, maybe you'll run into me. Funny, I remark, casting him a sidelong glance. I thought it was. Just so you know, I'm not usually that clumsy. Whatever you say, Rose. He's gazing down at me now in a way that no man has ever looked at me before. Like there are no rules to abide by, no titles to respect, no protocol to be broken. In his eyes, I'm just an ordinary girl. And I think if I were to ask him, he would kiss me. Not that I would ever consider such a thing. It wouldn't be at all appropriate. Well, listen, I really do need to be going, I tell him. Before I do, though. Yeah? And I'd like to preface this by saying that I've never done anything like this before. But since I probably won't see you again, my heart is fluttering so quickly I can barely catch my breath. May I kiss you? Now it's his turn to blush. Sheepishly, he smiles down at his shoes before lifting his gaze back up to me. Then at long last, he nods. Trembling, I take a small step toward him. I can feel his warmth radiating from the coat that he wears as I reach up with deft fingers to stroke his beard. Then, certain that I have no idea what I'm doing, I rise up on my tiptoes and press my lips gently to his. It's a kiss as soft and serene as the snowflakes that surround us. And although it's over within seconds, it's a moment I know will stay with me forever. Zach, on the other hand, looks pensive and, dare I say it, mildly unimpressed. That wasn't a real kiss, he says. And with that, he sweeps me up into his arms and lowers his mouth to mine. This time, the kiss lingers, and before I can stop myself, I'm wrapping my arms around his shoulders and kissing him back with the kind of passion I've only ever witnessed in movies. He kisses me once, twice, 3 times more before he lets me go, and I drift back down to earth, feeling dizzy, dreamy, and weightless. Finally, I open my eyes and take one last look at his handsome face, endeavoring to memorize his every feature. There isn't enough time in the world, and I'm already late. Goodbye, Zach, I whisper. He smiles. Merry Christmas, Rose. Okay, I want to read chapter 6 just because it's one of the most fun chapters ever to write. Chapter 6. Preparations for the walker's arrival are in full swing by the time I stroll casually back into the castle, as though I'd been gone no longer than a mere moment or two. Garland adorns every hall, wreaths decorate the windows, and I've counted no less than 7 twinkling Christmas trees on my way back to my bedroom. I've no sooner slipped inside than Sophie appears, breathing a sigh of relief. "Oh, Your Highness, thank heavens it's you," she says. "Lord Weston has been coming around every 20 minutes to ask how you're doing. I think he truly believes you've contracted the plague." "Goodness, we can't have that," I remark lightly. "If you don't mind me saying, he seems to be very taken with you." "Yes, well, he is a lovely person." Something in my tone must give me away because Sophie raises a curious eyebrow and looks at me. "Are you all right?" she asks. "Yes, why?" "I don't know. There's something different about you." I shrug. "Must be the fresh Iberian air." I could tell her the truth about my venture into Bologna and my rendezvous with Zach, and a part of me is very tempted to do so. But there's another part that wants to keep him, and every moment with him, all to myself. Sophie is still watching me with suspicion, but before she can question me further, someone knocks on the door. "Come in," I call. The door opens and Lord Weston peeks inside. "Ah, there you are," he smiles. "I was beginning to worry about you. How are you feeling?" "Much better, thank you," I answer. "I'm glad to hear it. You look comfortable." It isn't until he says so that I remember I'm still dressed in my tourist disguise. "Ah, yes, I was just about to change. I'm sorry, that came out wrong. Please know that I didn't mean to offend. I'm just not accustomed to seeing the Princess of Mondovia in blue jeans," he explains. "You look beautiful, as always." "That's very sweet." He actually looks rather handsome himself in his tuxedo. Not nearly as handsome, though, as Zach had looked in his casual, everyday attire. "Is there anything I can do for you?" "Yes, actually," he says. "I was wondering if I might escort you to the banquet tonight. It is a formal affair, after all, and I would be honored if you would let me accompany you. It may be a formal affair, but it is also a family affair, which makes it far more personal and intimate than a state dinner or a charity reception. However, I suppose it would be nice to have someone there with me, if for no other reason than to prove to the Walkers that I am not, in fact, there to try and snake Nicholas away from their daughter. That would be wonderful. Thank you, Lord Weston. It's my pleasure, Your Highness. Truly, he insists. Well then, I suppose I should let you get ready. Indeed. I'll see you in a little while. Yes, you shall, I promise. His face lights up. Then he bows politely and retreats back out into the hallway. Watching him leave, an image of Zack smiling amidst the swirling snowflakes flashes before my eyes. Flustered, I turn away and look to Sophie for a sense of stability. Are you sure you're feeling all right? She asks. This time, I have no answer for her. By the time I step out of the shower, I've managed to regain most of my composure. The hot water seems to have cleared my head, and although my memories of Zack are still quite vivid, he is no longer at the forefront of my mind. My afternoon with him was a chapter straight out of a fairy tale, but now the spell is broken, and my winter boots and blue jeans have transformed back into sparkling slippers and a crimson evening gown. I think that should just about do it, Sophie murmurs to herself as she styles my long brown locks up into an elegant bun. There's just one more thing. She disappears into a closet only to return moments later bearing a black velvet box. What is that? An early Christmas present from your brother, Sophie answers, opening the box to reveal a dazzling diamond tiara. I've worn tiaras before, of course, but they've always been on loan to me from my mother or from the royal estate. Oh, it's beautiful, I sigh, thoroughly moved by Robert's thoughtful gesture. He hoped you would like it, Sophie says as she deftly lifts the tiara out of its box and fastens it into my hair. It's perfect. And it is. Trimmed in silver, it's neither too large nor too ostentatious. It's simple and stylish, but it sparkles just enough to catch the eye. After she's certain that the tiara is secure, Sophie steps around to face me. Don't let them forget who you are, she tells me. And don't you forget either. They're words I didn't realize I needed to hear until after they're spoken. I'm not oblivious to the fact that I may be met tonight with scorn and skepticism. I know there are those who will continue to doubt my intentions, but I made a promise to be there for Nicholas, for Isabel, and for Miss Walker, and a princess always keeps her promises. At precisely 10 minutes to 5, I emerge from my bedroom and go to meet Lord Weston at the foot of the grand staircase. He's already there, waiting. Wow, Rosalind, he breathes. You look stunning. Thank you. Since tonight is a night of celebration and welcome, I'm willing to overlook his informal greeting. Once. Well, shall we? Let's, he grins, offering me his arm. As I take it, however, I can't help but notice his eyes drifting upward from my face to the glittering tiara above it. His gaze lingers for only a moment before he catches himself. Then, without another word, he turns his attention forward and leads me into the gold drawing room, a bright, enchanting space at the heart of the castle. There are more guests present than I'd anticipated. Nicholas and Brittany are here, of course, as are Princess Isabel and Prince Vincent. They're standing at the center of the room, chatting with a fine-looking older couple I presume to be Mr. and Mrs. Walker. I also recognize a few of Nicholas's aunts, uncles, and cousins. Princess Rosalind, what a pleasure to see you, Nicholas's Aunt Vanessa says to me. And you, Your Grace, I reply. How have you been? Oh, I'm just wonderful, my dear. Thank you for asking. How are you? I'm splendid. Very much enjoying my time here in San Cecilio. So I can see, Vanessa smirks, eyeing Lord Weston with delight and curiosity. And who might this be? Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Your Grace, this is Lord Weston Bentley. Lord Weston, Duchess Vanessa de Cagny, Nicholas's aunt. It's an honor, Weston grins, and takes Vanessa's hand. I promise it's not a typo. It says Weston, Nicholas. Likewise, Vanessa smiles, before looking back to me. It's so wonderful to see you so happy. I'll admit that I've been rather worried about you. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughts, but I assure you I am doing very well. I am so glad to hear it, Vanessa says. I hope you know that no matter what, you will always be family to us. And you to me, I tell her. Rosalind! I turn just in time to see Brittany approaching me, her arms outstretched. She looks positively breathtaking in a shimmering silver evening gown and a diamond headpiece. I'm so happy you're here. I heard you weren't feeling very well this morning. I just needed to rest. Oh, I totally get it. I have been completely exhausted for like the past 2 weeks. And with Christmas and the wedding only 2 weeks away, life is going to get even more hectic. In the best possible way, of course, she smiles. And Weston, you are looking very handsome tonight. Doesn't he look handsome, Rosalind? Indeed, I answer. Thank you, ladies. Lord Weston blushes. Brittany, has your family arrived? They have, and I'm dying for you to meet them. Come on, let me introduce you. She guides us across the room to where Nicholas stands, chatting with the same distinguished couple as before. Mr. Walker is tall and heavy-set, with a head full of white hair and thick-rimmed glasses. Mrs. Walker, on the other hand, is short and delicate like her daughter, with auburn hair that has clearly been artificially colored and perfectly polished fingernails. Mom, Dad, she calls, flouncing up to them. I'd like you to meet Lord Weston Bentley and Her Royal Highness Princess Rosalind of Mondovia. It's lovely to... But the words die on my lips as another young man steps forward to join our gathering. He's tall, fit, and devastatingly handsome. And the moment he recognizes me, his eyes widen and his brows furrow in what I can only describe as pure shock. Oh, Zach, there you are! Brittany grins, blessedly oblivious to the stunned look on both of our faces. Weston, Rosalind, this is my big brother, Zachary Walker. Zach, these are our good friends, Lord Weston and Princess Rosalind. How do you do? Weston greets him. Fine, thanks, Zach answers, half-heartedly. Zach answers half-heartedly, his eyes still locked on my face. I suppose I should say something too, so I clear my throat and extend my hand. It's very nice to meet you, Zachary. No, the pleasure is mine, Your Highness, he replies, taking my hand and bowing ever so slightly. It's funny, Miss Walker never mentioned that she had a brother. My voice is trembling. This is not good. Oh, I'm guessing there are a lot of things you don't know about each other. Oh my God, did he really just say that to me? Zach, don't be snarky, Brittany scolds. You'll have to forgive him. He's not really into all of this. But he is very grateful and honored to be here, as we all are, Mrs. Walker assures us, enunciating every syllable. And we are honored to have you here, Nicholas grins. You are family now, after all. Family. Oh my God. They really are family now. Zach's sister is marrying Nicholas. The strange man I snogged in the streets this morning is about to become my ex-fiancé's brother-in-law. How is this happening? Dear God, tell me this isn't happening. Rosalind, are you feeling all right? Weston asks. Yes, of course, I answer far too quickly. You do look a little pale, Brittany observes. Do you need some water? No, I'm fine, really. Well, maybe you should at least lie down, Brittany suggests. The princess was feeling a touch under the weather this morning, Weston explains to the Walkers. Oh dear, then maybe you should find a place to sit down, Mrs. Walker says to me. Zach, on the other hand, raises a rather judgmental eyebrow in my direction, and realization hits me at once. Only this time, it hits me like a let me start that over. I'm not very good at reading today. Zach, on the other hand, raises a rather judgmental eyebrow in my direction, and realization hits me once again. Only this time, it hits me like a sledgehammer. He is angry with me. Or perhaps not angry, but he certainly isn't pleased. Of course, I can only imagine why. I lied to him about practically everything. Who I am, why I'm here, where I'm from, and what I do. I couldn't even be bothered to give him my real name. Now on top of all of that, he finds out I've been lying to everyone around me as well. This is not at all the beginning of a fairy tale romance. Not that it was ever the beginning of anything. I have absolutely no future with Zach. I never did. And now I know I never will. Once again, if you would like to read the rest of Once Upon a Midnight Clear, you can find it on Amazon, on Kindle, and available on Kindle Unlimited. And I'm working on a sequel, and it's so much fun, and I finally have a cover that I love, and I can't wait to share it. So I hope you'll have a good rest of your day. See you later!